You know how many times I've told kids my age, and they're like, damn, and I'm like, dude, I'm 28.
I didn't know I had ADHD. I just didn't do my work in 5th grade. Like
Exactly.
I watched some of my kids I know have ADHD. Like I've watched them. When I've talked to their parents, I'm like, hey, she genuinely can't help it.
Whenever there's a kid that's way too hyped up, just like way too much energy, you're at a 10 right now, I need you at a 6 for the next 30 minutes.
We know that this generation is the generation that they can't sit still. You can keep people's attention for 7 minutes or something like that. This generation is like 7 seconds.
You know, I almost didn't get my teacher's license. And the guy that was my supervising practitioner, the guy was like, in terms of classroom management, I'm sorry, I had to grade you a 1 out of 4. And I was like, for what? And he goes, you only focused on one student. I was like, are you out of your mind? I was like, that kid could be going through who knows what.
There are administrators that they are well-rounded like that. Yeah. And people try to block what they do.
100%.
They're mad that
100%.
They're standing up for teachers and they're standing up for kids.
Yep.
And it is so discouraging to watch that. Hey, best friends. Welcome to the Teachers Off Duty podcast. I love the deuces.
Back to the album cover.
If you don't know me, I am Honest Teacher Vibes, a.k.a. Breezy, joined by my fantastic co-host.
Oh, today you're Breezy?
Come on, man. Just let me be who I am.
Can I be T-Teezy? I want you. I am now requesting you need to refer to me as that the entire podcast.
All right, T-Teezy.
I don't get. Ooh.
T-Teezy.
It sounds even better from someone else.
We need to get some shirts to say Breezy and T-Teezy.
Hell yeah. Hell, that was a bad high five.
I know. You got to look at the elbow, man.
My name's Tyler Jakowski, otherwise known as Fishing for Clout, for Christ knows what reason.
They do everything for clout.
Except for get it. I don't know. It doesn't exactly like pull it in the way that you'd want it to.
I think it sounds juicy.
You know what else is juicy? Yes, I needed you to choke on the coffee so bad. You want to know what else is juicy? She's over.
The Board Teachers Comedy Tour is juicy.
The Board Teachers Comedy Tour is juicy.
Before I get into the comedy tour dates, if you may not have noticed, which I'm sure you have, you probably couldn't if you listening on Apple Podcasts.
I don't know where you're going with
this. Are you
this.
good, bro?
I'm so worried.
You got your legs bougie crossed. Anyway.
Is this bougie crossed?
There's only 2 of us today. Our other lovely co-host is en route.
She's on her way.
Flights be flighting. So anyway, there will be.
It always happens.
2 of us on today.
Flights these days are just mental.
They stress me out when they be like, "Hey, get off the plane for a minute for maintenance." You ain't got to tell me to get back on because I'm not.
I flew on a certain airline that.
He who must not be named.
No, I mean everyone knows what it is, but like I flew on a certain airline, and they boarded us all late.
Mm-hmm.
Sure,
Period.
They boarded us all late, and then we were on the plane. They're like, "This plane cannot fly; it needs maintenance." So then they deboarded us, and we're like, "Oh, this is stupid!" Like, oh yeah, full blown announcement. They're like, "You cannot fly on this plane," and we're like, "All right, lit. So get us off." Like, and like that was annoying, whatever. And then they moved us back into the gate. And then they boarded us onto the same plane. Same plane. I watched it. It didn't change.
That's a Jim from The Office moment.
It's the same.
Because
it's the same plane.
That stressed me out.
And then we're on takeoff, and I'm like,
oh no!
It was the scariest thing I've ever done in my whole life.
You know what's gonna be scary if you don't come to the Board Teachers Comedy Tour.
Walk my way into that one.
Here are the dates tonight.
Beauty.
We will be April 5th, Morgantown, West Virginia. We will be there tonight, West Virginia. Woo woo. Next weekend, April the 10th, we will be in Asheville, North Carolina. April the 11th, Knoxville, Tennessee. Shout out to my home state. You're the only 10 I see. April the 12th, Columbia.
Did I just miss that? What did I just like disassociate for a second?
Our ADHD, we don't be listening.
Oh no.
We look and we see people's mouths moving, but we really don't be listening.
We could talk for 2 hours. Ask me a single thing about it.
I don't know, can't remember it. April the 12th, Columbia, South Carolina. April the 13th, Hotlanta, Georgia, ATL.
Get him.
Then in May 15th, we'll be in Keene, New Hampshire. May 2nd, we'll be in Utica, New York. May the 3rd, Williamsport, Pennsylvania. May the 4th be with you.
I'm so glad you said that because my brain, like if you didn't say it, my brain was going to pop like a cherry.
You should have been like, I beg your finest pardon.
No, that's a tough one.
May the 4th, New Haven, Connecticut. May the 8th, Kansas City, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
May 9th, Salina, Kansas. May 10th, Omaha, Nebraska. And exciting news for our Canadian teachers to the north. We're doing a full Canada tour over 3 weekends this fall 2025. Tickets go on pre-sale this week. October 15th, we will be in Regina, Saskatchewan.
No, Saskatchewan.
Shut up, bro. October the 16th, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I got to hold on to the mic for support.
Jesus.
You want to read these? Here.
Where are you even
down
at?
There at the bottom.
On October 15th, we'll be in Regina, Saskatchewan. On October 16th, we'll be in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. On October 17th, we'll be in Edmonton, Alberta. October 18th, we'll be in Calgary, Alberta. October 19th, we'll be Victoria, British Columbia. October 23rd, we'll be in North York, Ontario. October 24th, we'll be in Kingston. October 25th, in Montreal, Quebec. October 26th, we'll be in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Ooh, what?
Ooh, get this. What? You ready?
Let me get it.
You sure?
Give it to me.
You ready? Thursday, November 13th, London, Ontario.
Are you serious right now?
Yep.
Are you bougie?
Crazy.
Bougie.
Crazy. I didn't read the second part of that. I thought it said London, England.
I was about to say, now I don't know how y'all went from Canada to England, but hey, it's your world, big dog.
Whole lot of flights.
Time travelers.
Yeah, pick the right airline. Friday, November 14th, in Kitchener, Ontario.
Who?
Don't make me say it again.
Oh, okay.
On Saturday, November Saturday, November 15th, we're in Hamilton, Ontario. Sunday, November 16th, in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
You're a good reader.
And that's that.
You're a good reader.
I articulate.
Listen, all I'm saying is, I just it makes my little heart so happy. I get so choked up.
That's what I do.
Not you.
Oh.
Not you.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I've developed so much as a on-screen presence. Damn it. Okay.
I was like, sorry, what?
Whatever you were about to hype it up.
Tyler.
You're lucky I have so much self-confidence.
Your life don't need no hype, Tyler. You your own hype.
I don't need anything.
Yeah.
I don't need any level of boosted ego.
Now, what I was going to say was, I have been on the Board Teachers Comedy Tour since we started in March of 2022. And just to see where the comedy tour has come from and to see where it's going, it is just...
2022?
Makes my heart just so happy.
2022?
Yeah.
Damn.
Why that remind me of when Kevin Hart was talking to Don Chena? He asked him how old he was.
That's exactly what it was.
Kevin Hart said, damn.
Damn.
My bad.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
That's so hurt. You know how many times I've told kids my age, and they're like, damn. And I'm like, dude, I'm 28.
I got
Will you calm down?
My kids, I'm like, hey, stop cussing.
People think that 27 is like a midlife crisis.
They told me I was almost 40. I told them kids I turned 35 in November. One of them said, ain't that midlife?
Oh.
First, he said, ain't that middle age? First of all, your mom is... Never mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't straight up go for a mom. No. But like people, I think students in the classroom these days have very little understanding of how old people actually are.
That's facts.
And I think it took me to getting it, like, I'm almost in my 30s, and it took me to getting to this point.
Oh, sorry.
You got some nerve.
Hey, first of all, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. Speaking of...
I'm about to burn your glass house down. Okay, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to melt it.
Okay,
what?
So speaking of kids in the classroom nowadays.
Oh, God.
This episode, we're going to be talking about how we were in the classroom as students versus how we are.
It's a risky episode.
Especially with the two of us.
Yo.
Versus how we are today as teachers.
Well, here's the thing. You met me for the very first time.
You play all day long.
You met me for the very first time. Get this. At the White House.
This man play all day long.
And if you could describe my behavior inside of the nation's capital.
Chaotic.
Chaotic?
Delusional chaos demon.
Was I worse than Brian?
Y'all were like two peas in a pod, man.
That's so real.
I think y'all fed off of each other.
That's so real.
I think you might have been a little bit more chill if Brian hadn't been there, but you and Brian together, loose cannons, man.
Oh, no, we feed off of each other so bad.
Loose freaking cannons.
But that's the thing. I think that like chaotic energy is sort of something I've carried for like people from I grew up in Danvers, Massachusetts, and like people from Danvers who grew up with me will always say that if there's one thing that they know about Tyler, it's that he's got energy.
Oh,
Always.
yeah. You got good energy, though, Tyler.
Yeah,
You're not like a douche about it,
that's
though,
the thing. I don't have like the energy. I'm never going to put energy towards like hurting anyone.
Yeah. You got good energy.
That's a waste of it.
It's
you know?
entertaining.
I could go towards like trying to hurt people's feelings. And don't get me wrong. If somebody deserves it,
oh, yeah.
I can be very, very mean.
I'm going to give it to you.
And also, worth noting, me as a kid, like, I was raised to stand up for myself.
Yeah.
You're not going to like get beat up by somebody who's trying to like assert dominance.
Because I can't fight. I don't think I could fight, but I could if I had to.
Oh, let me tell you. If somebody ever tried to kidnap me, I'd be the most annoying kidnapping you've ever seen. I'd scream, I'd punch, I'd kick, I'd run. I'm fast as hell.
I'm fast, boy.
You have no idea. I
He's
can
a
move.
runner. He's a track star. He gonna run away when it gets hard.
I'm like that road runner. Like you can't see my legs because they're moving so fast. I'm an annoying person to fight.
I would be the type of person that get kidnapped. Be like, so what made you choose me?
No, they would drop me off in the place that they found me 10 minutes later.
Can you imagine we got kidnapped together? They'd bring both of us back.
Are you kidding me?
They'd bring both of us back.
No, it would be they would be the one getting kidnapped.
They'll turn themselves facts.
We would turn it around and be like,
facts.
So what's your favorite color? And they'd be like, they would just drive the truck like off the road. It would be so bad. I'd give it 20 minutes before they'd be like, I'm good. This is not worth it.
Police.
Yeah. Yeah. They would drive into the police station and be like, they're in the back of the car. Just put me wherever I'm going.
Listen, I try to think of like what I was like as a kid. Mostly, I was just like the kids I teach, which I think kids are just kids, though. Yeah. Like, people are like, these kids nowadays. First of all, shut up. Okay? That's no
Anyone who starts a sentence with these kids nowadays.
Yeah, like, first of all, shut up. Because respectfully, and I mean this in the most disrespectful way possible. That's how the
with
kids
all
are.
disrespect.
With all due respect. Anytime somebody say with all due respect, they're going to be real disrespectful.
Oh, it's going to be so bad?
But with all due respect, respectfully, no respect.
None.
I don't know why people say, like, these kids nowadays, y'all, literally kids are kids. They got different tools and technology and gadgets than we had when we were kids, but kids are just kids. Yeah. Like, they act the same.
Also, generations before the ones that we're living in right now, like, they always like to pretend like their generation was completely spotless. No generation was spotless. You were 17 when you were 17. Right. You were 17 when you were 17. Right. You were 17. He was 17. Right. We were all an age where we are incredibly non-developed mentally.
Oh, yeah.
And we acted like it.
Your brain don't develop all the way till you turn 25.
My brain's still not developed.
I'm sick of you.
Are you kidding me?
Scientifically, fool.
Scientifically, I'm pretty sure I'm like 80% charged.
I'm tired of you. Can you imagine me and you were in the same class?
Yo. Can I come like
it would have
sub
to be
in your
high
class?
School, though. Yes.
Can I be your student for a day? What state do you live in?
Mississippi. My principal would never let you up in there.
Why?
I mean, she would as a
We'd
sub.
be best friends.
My principal would never let you in there.
Not as like just a hangout?
No, we don't do hangouts at my school.
I can't come in and like observe?
Yeah, I mean, probably.
Can I bring a camera crew?
I don't know.
Can I bring a microphone?
No.
Oh, I'd be your worst nightmare.
Tyler,
I would cause
first
many
of all,
problems.
let me tell you something.
There will be a fire.
Let's get this straight. I'd be your worst nightmare.
Okay, quick question. Do you say data or data? At my house, we definitely say data, but here's something we can all agree on. I used to think that paying a fortune for my monthly wireless plan was totally normal. I mean, it's just part of life, right? That was until I found Mint Mobile with their premium wireless plan starting at just $15 a month. Let me tell you, I used to be stuck paying crazy high bills, always dreading the jaw-dropping monthly charges and unexpected overages. But now, I'm saving so much, I feel like I could take a class on budgeting. Mint Mobile gives me high-speed data, or data, whichever you choose, unlimited talk and text, and all that goodness on the nation's largest 5G network. And here's the kicker. You can use your own phone. Bring your phone number and keep all of your contacts. No more dealing with hidden fees or random price hikes, just solid, affordable service. No matter how you say it, data or data, don't overpay for it. Shop Mint Mobile plans at mintmobile.com/TOD. That's MINTMOBILE.com/TOD. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5GB plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
You play all day long, baby. I match energy. We go tip
I've said this before, and I'll say this again. If you were my teacher growing up, I would be a very different person. I probably would have made it to a place where I didn't have to be sitting here podcasting.
So
I would probably be a well-achieved individual because you would have been like, sit down. I would be like, oh my God. You know, I had teachers who were like, I had teachers in my suburban ass schools, and they're like, Tyler.
Oh, no. I ain't never
We
used
need
that
you
tone.
to stop tapping your feet. If you had grabbed me by my feet and frisbee me around the room.
I literally can't. We can't grab them.
No, with that mentality, you can't.
We can't.
It's all about a mindset.
But you know what? We teach kids who are us.
Yeah,
like
100%.
I literally teach a bunch of little me's. You literally taught a bunch of little yous. I can think of. I teach 100 kids. Mm-hmm. I can think of 5 of 100? My boys. Yeah, but I mean they're like split up over 4 classes.
Damn.
I'm so tired of you.
This episode's brought to you by Damn.
Damn.
So stupid.
You gotta say it like that. That's how Kevin Hart said. Damn.
No, Bree, you don't understand. I can't say it like anyone. I can just say the word. Tyler's do you like me sitting here with you?
Yes.
Then I'm going to say it like Tyler.
I cannot. I'm so done with you. But I can think of 5 of my boys in my classes that are you.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, mentally we're at the same exact place in life.
If they tapping their feet, hey, stop.
Well, you know what the problem was?
And they stop. Like,
in middle school, I met a friend of mine who was like, we were friends like through high school.
Is it Brian?
No.
Aww.
I met Brian like after college.
Oh, you met Brian at some like random
I met Brian late.
wedding or something like that.
No. I can give you that backstory at some point. But it's like in middle school, I had a buddy, and I'm not going to say his name because we're like we don't hang out anymore.
His friend no more, cuz.
Well, just because of separations. We can get into that whenever we want. He was a drummer, right? Yeah. Like hardcore drummer. This kid was like, he was more talented than 99% of people who have ever seen a drum kit.
That's a compliment from you.
100%. No, he's crazy talented. He was young too. A middle schooler being able to play like heavy metal, like fast stuff. He was incredible. So I'm hanging out with him. We're drumming all the time. That's how I got into drumming too.
I didn't know you played drums.
Yeah, just a little bit. Nothing like worth seeing, but like I play around.
Tyler, I feel like anything you do is worth seeing.
I don't know. We'll test it out. We'll go to like a guitar center and get kicked out. But
we probably would.
We would be like drumming together outside of school, and then I'd come into school and I'd be like tapping my feet, and then I'd take my pencils and I'd be tapping my binders, and I wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
The teacher would be teaching, I'd be like the whole time. But what I don't realize is that it sounds like.
Yeah, it's loud. But they don't. But my kids that tap, they don't realize they're tapping. Yeah. That it's a constant.
How long would it take for you to punch me in the throat?
I would not punch you in the throat. But as somebody with ADHD, when I notice my kids tapping, I give them a second to see if they notice that they're doing it. And if they don't, I'm like, hey,
what is the look? What's the look? Show me the look.
Stop.
No, my soul would leave my body.
I mean, because I ain't trying to be hateful, and I know they don't know that they doing it.
I'd be like,
now, if it's a kid that I know he being obnoxious on purpose, like, hey, bro, stop.
That's a different story.
Yeah, like
I was never being obnoxious on purpose.
No, my kid, I'm telling you, my kids, this is the thing I love about my school. Mm-hmm. We know our kids that got ADHD. Yep. And like, I have seen teachers let kids, like, hey, take a lap.
Exactly.
I know you can't sit still right now. That's cool. Take a lap.
100%.
And if you got one of them classes that everybody got ADHD, because in some of them classes, everybody got ADHD.
Go for a run.
You stand up and you play a quick little game. We ain't doing no brain break. We playing an actual game, people. I'm not doing no brain break. There's no learning going on during this 5 minutes. We having a good time
100%.
so that we can sit down and focus.
I could not agree more. Yeah. But I will say, like, you just kind of hit the nail on the head where it's like, you're trying to distinguish whether or not the kid is being annoying on purpose, like intentionally, or if it's just like, he's distracted, he's energized. Some
kids, like, they really genuinely, like, they're like, I'm gonna do this to be annoying. I'm like, bro, chill.
I do it now.
Sometimes I do stuff to be annoying.
You saw me with the pencil. Every time that I'm sitting there, I have a pencil. I'm flipping the thing around. I don't even know I'm doing it.
Yeah,
I'll do it for hours. I learned that when I was in my little prep high school.
But see, this generation of kids now, I will say, they have more access to mental health resources than we do. They have a little 100%. Bit more access to. I didn't know I had ADHD. I just didn't do my work in 5th grade. Like, exactly. I watched some of my kids I know have ADHD. Like, I've watched them. When I've talked to their parents, I'm like, hey, she genuinely can't help it.
Yeah.
Like, she trying to focus. I redirect and she like starts working on something, but then she just kind of zones out again. I really am like, we can teach them some tools and stuff. Like, one of my kids, my like Tristan student, who was like my character on my social media.
Yeah.
I seen him about to do something the other day. I said, hey, control your impulses. He said, all right, Mr. Richardson, I ain't gonna lie.
He was right there. He was ready to go.
But because I am him.
Yeah.
Like, there are times where we'll be sitting in meetings. This is where you know that we are the kids when we're sitting in meetings. There will be times we're sitting in meetings, and I can relate to why our kids get in trouble sometimes because they're freaking bored and they're 100%. Tired of sitting there.
Exactly.
I'm like, because sometimes I'm like, man, I'm sleepy and I'm tired of this meeting. I want to knock somebody's coffee cup off their desk just to give me something to do.
You're like a cat where you're just like, Well, do you know what's like? Oh, do it, please.
No,
Right
'cause then
across
I
the
have to
room.
pick my water up.
But it's like, do you know what's the most developmentally appropriate sentence that I say to kids when they're being so energized, but I need them to chill?
Mhm.
And if I had heard it, it would have been a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a kid that's way too hyped up, just like way too much energy, I pull them aside, never in front of the whole class, and I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, I love your energy.
Yeah.
It's so important to this class.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know how important it is to like who you are as a
Validation is
person. I
important.
love
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
You're at a 10 right now. I need you at a 6 for the next 30 minutes,
Yep.
and then we'll do something that
Yep.
we can use this energy the right way.
Yeah. The
you know?
communication is key.
When you start with, listen, I
Yep.
love your energy,
Yep.
it doesn't make them feel bad for it. And
Yeah.
that's where a lot of my teachers, when I was in like elementary, I don't even remember it. I was a space cadet in elementary, but like middle school.
Not a space cadet.
Oh, 100%. But middle school, and then even like part of high school, like I had teachers who were like, if you don't sit still, I'm making you leave.
And sometimes they can't. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
just because somebody like can't do something doesn't mean like we got to just let them like run around. But if we're going to differentiate instruction or meet all students where they at, we know that this generation is the like generation that they can't sit still and they can't pay attention sometimes. Our generation, we had like, you know, they would say like we had like you can keep people's attention for 7 minutes or something like that.
Yeah,
this generation is like 7 seconds.
This generation, it's like the attention span of like squirrels.
Yeah, no.
And I'm the same way. That's the thing.
So I feel like that one of the things that I try to do as a teacher, I try to be the teacher that I needed when I was a kid.
You become the adult that you needed when you were young.
And I had once I got to high school though, like middle school, I don't remember that much about middle school, but I had some fantastic high school teachers. Like I remember, like I can only think of like one or two of my high school teachers that I was like, ugh, like you really don't like us.
Yeah.
Most of my high school teachers, they were like A1 people.
100%. But like, here's some context that'll help you understand me. Like in middle school, like elementary, space cadet. Middle school, like getting out of my space cadet ship. And when I got into high school, so my middle school was the first public school I had been to. Elementary, it was like, I think it was like partially private, I guess, or something like this. It was like right down the road.
Bougie.
Did not deserve it. But when I got out, T-Teezy, listen, put it on a hoodie.
Breezy and
I'll wear that
T-Teezy
all day long. Listen, that's the podcast.
Let me tell you something. Can y'all get? I want y'all
That's a high five.
to put like well, you know how y'all can like slide names across the side. I need you to slide T-Teezy and
I love
Breezy.
that. If I don't see that right here,
yeah, I'm gonna be mad.
Oh, I love it.
I want it right here on my belly. Bow.
But one thing that's worth mentioning, when I got out of middle school and into high school, the high school that I went to St. John's Prep.
Okay.
Which is this like.
So you went to Catholic schools, like elementary.
So elementary was not Catholic. Middle school was public and not Catholic. High school was the first Catholic school. Sister Karen was in college.
Okay.
Emmanuel College was it is a Catholic school. But when I got into St. John's Prep, like that's a test in school. And to this day, I am so goddamn sure that if my brother wasn't already a student at the school, they're not letting my ass in.
Really?
No chance.
Listen,
no chance because I know I was getting taken out of every. A vibe doesn't get you good grades. Because teachers don't grade you based on your vibe.
That's true.
You know? And a vibe looks very different when it's a vibe of a 28-year-old instead of some kid who's like.
But you know, I'm telling you, I bet you could look at me and you have students in your class that you're like, that's Bree.
100%.
And I'm telling you, I have 5 kids I'm thinking about right now in my mind that they were you when they were a kid.
Do you know how I've said this to you, but it's like I see like pieces of us in so many different kids that I've worked with, but also adults that I've worked with.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, the reason we get along is because you're not one of the like horrible teachers that told me that I was moving around because I was just like annoying.
I don't know why I hate when. So that's like a pet peeve of mine. I hate when people make people feel like they are so annoying and they have to make themselves small. If you find me annoying, clearly not your people.
Yeah.
Go find your people if you find me annoying.
Oh, 100%.
But you are like the epitome of somebody I would have hung out with in college all the time. We would have went to play basketball. Would have been like, I'm telling you, like,
Bree.
So
don't even get me started.
I'm telling you,
we would have had a ball.
Frat boy swag right here.
100%.
I'm like, you got the little frat boy.
Mind you, I was never in any frats.
I know.
Emmanuel, are you kidding me? They would never.
I know that about you, but you still got like, that's why we get along though, because all the people I hung out with in college were like frat boys, basketball frat boys.
Just chill, open,
people.
like do your thing.
It's my people.
But here's the thing that happened in high school is that like that school, I've said it before. I said it 2 minutes ago. I'll say it again. Like my brother being in that school was the reason why I got into that school.
How old is your brother?
He's a year and like a half older than me.
Okay.
He's turning 30 in March.
But is he hyper like you?
No.
He ain't hyper like us?
He's level. But another thing about my brother.
What's it like to be God's favorite?
It's like I know God chooses his hardest battles for his strongest soldiers.
But
But what the hell?
I ain't strong no more.
Can we chill?
My twin, we're like polar opposites. I am a spastic Labrador retriever, and my twin is a golden doodle.
We are the same person.
She is like
100%.
My twin actually might be a black cat. Like, she's real chill.
I always say Ranya's black cat and I'm golden retriever.
Oh, yeah.
My twin is
a black cat. Like, she's very, like, classy and, like, sleek and chill. And I'm like...
Let's talk about mornings as teachers. You know those Instagram-worthy breakfasts with perfectly plated avocado toast and a fresh green juice? Yeah, that's not my reality. My mornings are more like a Starbucks and an empty stomach breakfast. Does anyone have time for breakfast? That's why we're obsessed with Orgain. Today's sponsor, and honestly, a teacher sanity saver. Orgain believes real nutrition has the power to make a real difference. And let's be real, as teachers, we're fueled by coffee, vending machine snacks, and maybe a granola bar we forgot was in our bag. We need all the help we can get. Let me introduce you to my new best friend, Orgain Organic Plant Protein Powder. It's packed with 21 grams of complete protein and all 9 essential amino acids. But here's the best part. It actually tastes good. Not that healthy but sad kind of good. We're talking creamy, delicious. I'll drink this even if no one's watching good. Plus, there's none of that fake sweeteners or sketchy preservatives or soy. The other day, I hit peak teacher on the go mode. No lunch, 3 minutes till I had to go cover a class, and a hunger level that of a middle schooler in second period. I tossed a scoop of Orgain vanilla protein powder into some oat milk, shook it like my life depended on it, which it did, and boom, instant lunch. It's so simple. Even my surviving, not thriving teacher self can handle it. That's why Orgain's plant protein powder is my MVP. It makes sticking to my goals so much easier and delicious. So, if you're tired of feeling hangry by third period or just want to level up your health without overcomplicating things, give Orgain a try. Remember, there are no quick fixes when it comes to your health. If you want more protein, give Orgain Organic Plant Protein Powder a try. Head to Orgain.com/TOD and use code TOD for 30% off your order. That's the best offer you'll find, but you have to use my code TOD for 30% off. One last time, for 30% off, head to Orgain.com/TOD. Use my code TOD.
You're a little bit like a chipmunk where it's just like I'm everywhere. No, but it's like in especially high school. So in high school, like this is a test in high school you get into. They're like top ranked, one of the top ranked for academics. Way up there. D1 academic or D1 athletics.
Yeah.
Very stressful. So when I came in, I obviously came in with like this knowledge that like you know that scene of like Jack Sparrow on the ship where it's like sinking? That was me getting out of middle school. Right? That was my dumbass being like getting out of middle school. I barely got there. Okay. Yeah. But when I got accepted, I wasn't like, I was aware of the fact that it had a lot to do with like the lineage, right? Because my brother's already there.
This is crazy to me.
That's a real thing. But then when I got in there, basically the prep was one of those schools where it's like, we're accepting kids who have straight up genius level IQs. We're not going to play around with all this ADHD, I like tapping my feet nonsense.
What? Private schools do not like.
Yeah, no.
My little girl had ADHD, and they was like.
They're like, we're going to train that straight out of you.
Yeah, I pulled my daughter immediately.
I had to bust my
Because how dare you bald-headed raggedy dog. Don't you dare judge my baby.
But the thing about my brother is my brother's always been that person that like things just made sense to him. I remember in elementary school, my brother was in like 3rd grade or 4th grade and he wanted to go up in math.
Yeah.
Right? So he asked his teacher if he could do the grade above their math class.
One thing I ain't never gonna do is ask for extra work.
Hell no. I can't do 5th grade math now.
I ain't never gonna ask for extra work.
So the teacher said no. So he hand wrote a note to the principal requesting that he can move up to not 5th, but 6th grade math. Because the math he was doing in 4th grade was too easy. And they let him. They let him move up. Okay? So
like your brother's smart.
That's Corey. Corey's like legit like no, Corey's he's incredible. Like there's so much I could say about him, but when we were at the prep, the high school, it was like Corey, he obviously, like, he did try. He did everything he needed to do. He got it done. But he didn't have to, like, spend nights up to do it.
Yeah,
He was just like, yeah, it's challenging, but I just do it. For me, you see me cold sweat every night.
But that's because we have ADHD.
Exactly.
Like, but I didn't know. I'm telling you, I did not know until I was an adult that I had ADHD.
Same.
I just thought I was
got diagnosed last November.
Oh, you just got diagnosed?
Just got diagnosed for ADHD. My psychiatrist and I, by the way, if you ever worry about, like, I might have ADHD, it's like getting in the way of something, anxiety, whatever, like, therapy is amazing, psychiatry is amazing.
Absolutely.
The fact of the matter is you're a giant bundle of chemicals. Sometimes you need more or less of something.
Yes, my psychiatrist, she saved my life, man.
She's chill.
I've had the same psychiatrist for 10 years, and she's fantastic. She always listens to me.
100%.
She's not one of those psychiatrists just throws out medicine like it's candy to see what works. This lady has literally worked with me and my chemicals to see what help. She's 100%. The one that suggested I go to a cardiologist.
There you go.
If
and
she
now you found everything. Yeah.
Now I figured out what.
It's always, but that's the thing. Like, it took me 27 years of being like this.
Yeah.
And we realized, my therapist was like, I feel like you have some patterns that I want to have you just talk through with a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
They did that list that they probably did with you where it was like, do you do this?
Telltale
do you do this?
sign.
100 things. And they're like, well, you checked off 98
Tyler,
of them.
It was textbook ADHD.
Oh, 100%.
You know what? When I went to get my baby tested, she was textbook ADHD
100%.
too.
And my kid will probably be textbook ADHD.
All I did was change the environment Peyton was in. She had to take ADHD medicine in kindergarten to get her used to being in school. Peyton don't take no medicine in first grade.
She's chill.
She's been doing fantastic.
And now there's no, like, glass ceiling on it, you know?
Yeah.
But the thing for me is that we found out through therapy and through psychiatry that it was like, you got crazy ADHD. That hyperactivity is mostly connecting to the way that your thought processes go.
Yeah.
So that's triggering some anxiety.
Right.
That anxiety is triggering your insomnia.
Right.
That insomnia is feeding your anxiety.
Yeah.
And when your anxiety and insomnia are working together, then it turns into, oh, by the way, you're not going to be able to finish anything.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to finish anything.
Does it make you
and
feel
you're going to overthink.
Yeah. It makes me feel so lazy.
Do you know that sound on social media where it's like the loud, like, chatter going on and then all of a sudden it dims down? That was so literally my experience. And I didn't know I needed it until I got it. And I remember, like Rania is one of the people that really pushed me because
that's his boo thing. Just in case you know, she's a
so
party.
I love her. No, she's amazing. But, like, she was one of the people who, it was like kind of two-sided where I was like, this is a person that I want to be at my best for, but there's also someone who's like a safe space where I can get to that next step and do really vulnerable things.
Yeah.
I remember in one of, like, the first probably like 2 months that we were dating, I, like, had this breakdown, like complete mental breakdown where I was just, like, weeping in front of her for like 2 hours. And in that moment, she was like, he really had a lot that he needed to let out.
Oh.
He had a lot going on.
Shout out to Rania.
But the thing is, like, no, Ranya's legit.
Because some girls be freaking out if a dude cry, and I'm like, hey, he's a person. Like, he can cry, bro. Chill.
That's the wrong person. If that person is making you feel bad about having any emotions, that's not it.
Yeah, it ain't your
But all this to say, like, that level of vulnerability and looking at the parts of me that aren't, like, this perfect, pristine, like, you're always smiling, you're always happy, energetic, and not seeing it as, like, a, can we go back to the other Tyler?
I hate when
that's
people
what my
do.
teachers were like.
I hate when people do that.
That's what my teachers were
I'm like, we cannot. I'm not. First of all, I'm not the freaking court jester. I know I might act like the court jester because I'm like, but a lot of us that are funny, it's a cover for that we are freaking sad and depressed, and we got a trillion things going on. It's the way that we process our trauma.
Yeah.
I want to know what type of student you think Rania was when she was in school.
Oh, Rania was like my brother. I already know it. She's told me a million times. Like, Ranya's Cypriot, and her parents put her in Greek school. And I remember she told me, she was like, they put me in this, like, A class, which is for, like, people who speak Greek at home, 100%. Her parents are fully fluent, obviously, because they're from Cyprus. They've been speaking Greek their whole lives. She was like, yeah, it was like one of the hardest classes I've ever taken. And also we didn't get grades or anything for it. It was just additional work.
What?
So she was like, I was already doing my schoolwork. And I had this like Greek school in the afternoon.
What was your motivation? You ain't get no grade.
I have no. Well, it was probably because like her parents would be like Yasu, and then she would have to have an answer for it.
Yeah.
You know, Yasu's hello in Greek.
Yeah, I didn't know what you was talking about.
Yeah, no, that's a real one. For all my Greeks or Cypriots, Yasu Tikanis.
Yeah, I thought there was somebody you was talking about. I was like, is Yasu your cousin?
Nice to meet you, Yasu.
Yeah, I was like, what's up, Yasu? What's up?
No, but that's the thing. Like me as a student, I just needed someone who could take a step back and be like, he's not doing this intentionally.
Yeah.
That thing that you said where it was like, I need to take a minute and stare this kid down and be like, are you tapping to annoy me? Or are you tapping because you really just like,
9
you
times out of
need
10
to get
they're
energy
tapping
out.
because they don't realize they're doing it.
Exactly.
And one of my kids, like he'll be tapping his feet. That boy don't know he tapping his feet.
100%.
Some of my kids got ADHD so bad, they stand up and don't even realize they're standing up. I'm like, hey, sit down. They're like, I'm not standing up. Look down at the ground at your feet and your knees. Are they extended or are they bent?
I fear
you are standing up, sir.
I fear that I do that now.
Yeah.
And that's such a problem. But it's like,
because your brain moves so fast.
If I had one, I did have like, there was one teacher I remember, he looked just like Mac Miller. I swear to God, I'm not like Mac Miller. Put him in Holden Richmond Middle School.
I'm gonna put up a picture of Mac Miller.
Literally, no, he looked exactly like him. He was a math teacher. I do not remember his name. Right over the head.
Mac Miller.
Yeah, that would be crazy. He was one of the first people who was young enough to be able to be like, you're not just being rude, but also I need you to focus.
But I need you.
He was almost there. The teacher that really pushed it over, where I was like, you're here for me, was Benjamin Cabrera.
Benjamin.
He taught geometry sophomore year at St. John's Prep. He was at the private school. So here's the thing where it all came together, where I was like, say what you will about the private schools, where they're like, we don't care if you have ADHD, we're going to work that straight out of you.
Yeah.
You're going to be a robot,
but
an
it
A
doesn't
student.
mean that there's not teachers there that understand.
So there was one time where I had that teacher that was like, you're late because you're rude.
The lady that you was beefing with?
Exactly. The same one. I'm not saying her name because I don't remember.
You say you got to catch this fade if I ever see you, lady.
Trauma blocked it out. Oh no, I doubt she's even still around. But she was like the one who was going at me, like pretending that I was just being rude. When in reality, I'm like, yo, I'm here. We're in religion class. I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
You know? And she kicked me out of her class because I didn't have a pencil. And I was like, you're lucky I don't have a pencil right now.
Tyler.
You're lucky I don't have a pencil right.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't feel like there's a lot of correlation between, like, I don't feel like there's much difference between who I was as a kid and who I am as a teacher, because essentially I'm literally an adult version of a middle schooler.
Yeah.
Like I think that we choose the grade that we teach because that's the grade we identify with the most. Like I'm literally a 6th grader.
I could absolutely see that.
In a 35-year-old body.
That's one thing that I think is funny, is that in a way, like I've taught kindergarten through 6th grade, and then I've taught 11th and 12th, and it's like I definitely see areas where I'm the most comfortable. But I also think that like the mentality that you have, like you could span whatever grade you want, and kids are going to benefit from that anywhere. And I think the thing that's really obnoxious about is that here's something that people don't understand. If there are any students watching this, you need to understand this.
Apparently there's a lot of kids that watch the podcast. I had no idea.
That's mental. That's wild.
I didn't think they would watch it.
Welcome. Teachers 9 times out of 10 act the way that they do because admin's telling them to.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10. There are shining star administrators who let teachers be themselves.
Yeah.
There are shining star administrators that will not dock teachers for taking time out of the curriculum to make sure that their kids are good.
Yes.
Okay. However, 99% of the time, the reason why teachers are super rigid, super strict, super like need you sitting down, like back art, like you're good, is because there's an administrator who is actively writing notes in the back of the room.
Yeah.
And it's stressing them out like crazy.
Because if they walk in and they feel like your class is, because in their perspective of what a class should look like, and it's not mad. If they walk in, kids are sitting on beanbags, or some kids are standing up, some kids are sitting down. It looks like mass chaos when you know it's organized chaos. But it doesn't matter what, you know what I'm saying. It matters how it
doesn't
looks.
matter how it is. It matters how it looks. You know, I almost didn't get my teacher's license.
No.
Because when I was doing student teaching, I was at Boston Latin School, and the guy that was my supervising practitioner, the guy that like watches you teach to do that and whatever. He came in and he did an observation, and he was like old. So, very, very, like way back when he was teaching. And there was a part of the class where we were like having a conversation, and then I let the kids go to have like a small group conversation about like what we were talking about. And there was this girl who was like actively crying in the back. So I went over to her. I was like, come talk to me for a minute. So we went into the hallway. I had like the door open, but I was like talking to her in the hallway,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like right at the door. And the guy was like, in terms of classroom management, I'm sorry, I had to grade you a 1 out of 4. And I was like, for what? And he goes, well, you only focused on one student.
Shut up talking
I was
to
like,
me.
are you out of your mind? I was like, that kid could be going through who knows what.
But
what's the behavior management when I leave that kid alone and then she gets picked on by somebody and then she loses her mind and becomes violent?
Yeah.
What happens then?
What, he would have just ignored her?
Then I would have got like this like shining star of a score?
What? Right.
He was pissed about that.
I don't care about
so
no
we're
score.
sitting down talking about it, and then the teacher supervisor, who was like the teacher whose class I was in, he like defended me. He was like, yeah, honestly, that was the right choice. He was like, I've been teaching for 25 years. That was the right call.
Anybody
Because
with
she
a
came
pulse
back.
would
Thank you.
like. What do I look like continuing to teach a kid in the back of the classroom crying?
The first thing that we're teaching is how to be a human.
Yes.
Because we're not teaching just like these weird
bet you
like
bro was serious,
mockingbirds
too.
that like can
Not
spit
mockingbirds.
back whatever we're saying. It's the most annoying thing in the world. Those administrators that are like, and I've had administrators that are like, you didn't use class time wisely. And I'm like, what? Because of the time where I was relating to my students?
That's my thing, though. If y'all want us to build relationships with kids, when are we supposed to do it if we can only talk about the curriculum?
Thank you.
Leave me alone.
Thank you.
Leave me
And
alone.
that's gonna,
Go
I think
find
that's
something to
gonna
do.
be
Go hand out some real discipline. Leave me alone.
the next generation of teachers. You got to keep in mind, like, I'm gonna speak generally just based on my own experience. I don't think teacher TikTok got really big until like around right before and during COVID.
No, for sure. It got big.
I
during
think that's
COVID.
the time where it really skyrocketed,
Yeah.
which is, in my experience, 90% of the reason why I was lucky enough to have my page get bigger in the time span that it did.
Same, because mine
I
blew up in 2020.
fully credit.
At the end of 2020.
Exactly. So I think with that has developed like this really big understanding of people who follow TikTok teachers that it's like, no, there are some teachers that are cool as hell.
Yeah.
And if
I'm a
you
cool
follow
teacher.
this,
I ain't even
you'll
gonna cap.
understand like we're humans too.
Yeah.
And we value their well-being so much more than we get credit
I
for.
value their well-being.
So I think that with the TikTok teacher generation continuing to move along and kids coming out of being students in that generation, I think that we're going to come into a generation of the most like finger on the pulse of what kids need generation of teachers ever. I think that the next 10 years of teachers are going to be the most high quality in emotional and productivity of any generation of teachers.
I still want to know why little buddy didn't think you should like say, the door's open. I
Yeah.
can see the kids while I'm talking to a student. Like, what do you? Because this is my problem with this them trying to regulate. You know, you can't talk to the kids about anything other than the curriculum.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna say I understand where y'all coming from, because I don't.
No.
Quite frankly, that's somebody that's somebody coming from a political standpoint. Baby, I don't care nothing about politics in my classroom. I teach ELA. I don't teach politics. But we're teaching empathy and humanity. What do I look like? Do you think that student's ever going to talk to me if they see them in the back of my classroom crying and I just ignore them for the entire class period?
Let me tell you something you already know.
I would never talk to a teacher again if I was in their classroom crying.
Of course.
Not that I'm crying because I want you to say something to me, but I'm clear. If I can't hold my tears in front of 20-something, I'm not going to cry in front of my peers.
Exactly.
If I'm crying in front of my peers, it means that something is going on.
We're way past it. Let me tell you something you already know. In the classroom, if there are behavioral issues, what'll happen is a teacher has an option. They can do something about it or they won't. 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, leading up to what I've seen these days in class, a lot of teachers won't do anything because they have to focus on keeping their job. And the only way to do that is to get through the curriculum.
Yeah, so some people ignore it, yeah.
Then it'll build up. It'll continue snowballing, and then at some point in time, something big is going to happen.
Yeah.
There's going to be a fight. There's going to be a screaming match. There's going to be stuff thrown. There's going to be kids walking out. Something crazy. And it gets, obviously, we know, way worse than that.
Yeah.
And then your administrator is going to come in with this new curriculum on social emotional learning.
Okay, which the social emotional learning curriculums, I'm like, hey, can I get something? Can I get something?
Yeah.
Like, because what is this?
Do you know what social emotional learning is?
What?
It's walking up to that kid who's crying in the back of the class and asking them if they're
so
okay.
why? What you got the social emotional learning curriculum for?
So
you going to dock me?
If I can organically fit it into a lesson as a student teacher, why the hell am I getting threatened to lose my job because I'm using class time to do the SEI that's in this curriculum, but some idiot on a video from 1995 is being like, Tommy gets bullied. Yeah, he gets bullied because these teachers let it happen.
I'm laughing at the way you said time, because that's the way the bloodborne pathogens video sounds.
Exactly.
And that's the way that video sounds.
100%.
Because I'm like, but it's also unrealistic.
It's a shame because it's not realistic.
It is.
100%.
It's not realistic because, one, you have to handle bullying in such a delicate way, because the kid, imagine a kid coming to tell you they're getting bullied. You go directly to the person they're saying is bullying them, and you're like, hey, stop bothering them. What that kid gonna do after you leave? They gonna go off on the kid that they like, so you snitching on me, so you telling the teacher. They're gonna
100%.
get bullied even more. There's a lot of like finessing and stuff. Now, outright bullying, absolutely not.
Yeah.
None of it. We don't tolerate any of it, but it's
Hell
a
no.
delicate way that you have to deal with it. You and your video, Tommy gets bullied. Your video ain't doing nothing because it's not realistic to what is going on in the classroom at that point in time.
And that's a response to the climax of the problems in your classroom.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that you wait until something crazy happens. And the thing is, I think that administrators and teachers sometimes, unfortunately, forget how aware the students in the class are.
They are very aware.
I don't care if they're 5th, 6th, 4th
graders. Thinking them kids don't be paying attention to us at all because they be sitting there with a glazed over look. But they actually are, like, a lot of times
They're
kids are
in.
paying attention
They
to
know
what
exactly
we're
what's
doing.
happening. They know why it's happening. And also, they're tracking how much the teacher's actually doing in this whole situation.
Yeah.
You know, so
But again,
they're
kids
clocking
need to feel
it.
Yeah, no.
They're like, this kid just swore and he didn't do anything.
Kids need to feel like their teachers are fair and reasonable people.
Yeah. And that they're going to get called, like, they're willing to step up when the kid needs them to step up.
Yeah.
So when it comes to bullying and all that, I think the best thing that I ever, like, because I don't know if you see this in schools that you've worked in. You've worked in more than one school.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've seen a lot of schools where teachers treat other teachers really badly and they kind of bully and, like, annex each other. And it's a shame because a lot of teachers, like, so that they can be part of that community of, like, friends, like teacher friends, and, like, not be, like, kind of pushed aside, they'll also act like bullies.
I won't ever have a friend at work if I got to be a part of a crew that's bullying somebody. I can't stand. That's what I'm telling you. I can't. I don't even like if I feel like I see somebody trying to talk crazy to a teacher assistant, because
100%.
a lot of people, the first year teachers and TAs, that's who people try to bully. And I'm like, pick on somebody your own size.
Exactly.
Come bully me.
Right?
Come bully me.
That's what I'm saying.
But my first year teaching and when I was a TA, it's easy to be a target. And I'm like, nah, I ain't never gonna be, because I have to be able to lay down in the bed at night with a clear conscience. I'm not finna sit, because some people, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but some people are genuinely mean-spirited, nasty people. Yeah. I'm like, why are you talking down to somebody just because you feel like your position is higher than them? Bro, you got a bachelor's degree. Chill, bro.
100%. And also, chill. Like, I'm not above letting my students know that an action of an adult in the school was bullying and is not cool. There's nothing cool about
because
it.
Because the kids see it. They can see it.
They know.
They
there was one time I remember I had a teacher, like, walk into my classroom and look over at me, like, as two adults, and be like, "Did you hear about Miss Johnson?" I'm like, "No, I didn't hear about Miss. Close my door." And my students were
Get out.
My students were like, Are you and that teacher fighting? And I'm like, no. I'm not like accepting that, like, mentality into my life.
But see, kids, so I think genuinely as people, sometimes we gravitate toward drama. It's like, oh, what happened?
I'm not gonna pretend I don't love a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I read all 672 comments of y'all arguing on Facebook. I don't want no smoke, because I like to live a peaceful life.
You're a popcorn in the back of the room.
That's what I'm telling you.
Same.
But the older I get, the more I'm like, I want a peaceful life.
Yeah.
My taxes, death and taxes is already stressing me out. I don't need no extra stress. I want to live a peaceful life. Okay, people, I want to eat my Caesar salad for lunch. I want to play Monopoly Go. I want to have a chill time.
I want to drive my Kia Sorento at the speed limit.
I want to drive my Nissan Rogue with a full tank of gas. It's some simple things that I want in life. Drama is not making my life simple.
Oh, you know what you're gonna love? So, the basically, like, the final point that, again, you're gonna love. You're gonna hate it, but you're gonna love it. That same guy that was observing me, that almost, like, kept me from getting my teacher's license because I went out in the hallway. I was like, the door was open. It's gonna be fine. And he was like, And I asked him, I was like, what's your fear?
Yeah, what's the problem?
About like me being in the hallway 10 feet away from my students? He was like, what if they start getting violent?
How your mind automatically go to violence? There's going to be some telltale signs before stuff get violent.
I'm like, have you lost your goddamn mind? I'm like, what are you doing? Look at these kids. And here's the thing, like, in that moment, I was like, you just lost all credibility. Why are you an observer for this classroom? And I'm looking around and I'm like, I know exactly why you're saying that.
But that also goes to the point of like some people, just because you was a good teacher doesn't mean you're going to be a good principal. It doesn't mean you're going to be good in a leadership position. Just because you're a good principal doesn't mean that.
Oh, that could be a whole episode.
I'm talking about some people, I'm like, just because you can teach your group of 30 students does not mean you can manage a larger group. Doesn't mean you can manage adults and kids. Because, sir, why are you automatically, what if they get violent? So say you can't break up a fight without saying you can't break up a fight, sir. Just say that then.
He's just scared because if one of them punches him, he'll turn to dust. Like, I just like, and I think the thing that is really tough about it, we lost her. Oh, she's deflating. Oh, no. Oh, God.
Tyler! Never in my life.
Oh, no, we got Bree deflating again.
Walking SNL skit.
No, but it's like, we literally could have an entire episode.
It just is what it is.
It really is, though. But that's the thing is, it's like I've had so many people, like the first school that I worked at, it was very like, come to the classroom for a couple of years. If you start showing some promise, we'll put you on like the leadership team. And then if you show a little bit more promise there, you could be like an assistant principal.
I don't want to be a leadership team.
And then maybe you'll be a principal.
Nope.
And I'm like, all right, so what you're saying is that somebody who's done 3 years in the classroom is about to be a principal? Have you lost your goddamn mind? Have you lost your goddamn mind? Also, in addition, part of the reason why I left that school in the first time is because I caught the wind of someone who was like, she was a teacher with me when I started. I can't say names, but she knows who she is.
You want to name drop her so bad. I'm a delusional chaos demon too. Say the name.
You know who you are. So, like, she didn't enjoy teaching. She was pissed off every single day. The minute that she got the opportunity to get out of the classroom and she started working on like their social media team, I'm like, good, go do that. Go post on the Instagram, please. Save me and these kids the stress.
That cocktail video.
No, different one. Jesus Christ, same cloth. But then after a couple of years, or I think it was only like 1 year, maybe 2, she was offered a assistant principal role. And I was like, based on what? Did she use a good filter on the Instagram post?
I beg your finest pardon.
What?
There's a lot of stuff in education culture that I think the rest of the world would be like, I'm sorry, what?
What are you talking about? What, because you're good friends with the current principal and she's like, you know what?
You would be a good administrator.
You would be a great administrator. No, that would be an easy administrator. She wouldn't push any buttons. She wouldn't go against you at all.
And let me tell you something. The kids, they know too.
They
when
know.
The principal ain't going to do nothing. Like, I called the principal. My first school I taught at, I called the principal. And I mean, I was one of them teachers, like, I try not to call an administrator down there. If it's something I can handle myself, I ain't going to call the principal.
Would it be toxic for me to look up the administration team to see if she actually got it? You keep talking. You keep talking. No one's going to be able to see anything.
Wait, is this recent?
I don't.
Tyler.
I'm going to look to see their roster right now. I want to see.
Not the roster.
Oh, God. I'm looking up the whole roster.
I love how you like the roster.
No, I'm going to their website right now.
Tyler, you are petty.
You can't see my phone screen, right?
They can't see your phone screen.
No, I'm going to, you keep going.
So what you're saying is like this person should not be a principal. If they did get it,
if they're in here, that's crazy.
Is it because they
shouldn't
be an
administrator? Wait for it.
Please say no. No, let me see.
Assistant principal.
Let me see. Which color shirt?
Assistant principal, the blue.
Oh no!
So funny.
Oh no!
Oh dude.
Hey, I don't know who this is, but no, he look cool as a mug though.
Who's this?
Who it is? The Rev.
Oh, I have no idea. Brand new.
He look cool.
No, that's crazy that she got that. No, that's the thing about education is that there are too many opportunities for people who are in admin to be like, you know what? I'm gonna plant that seed right now. And the fact that I
have zero desire to be a principal. I don't got the type of temperament to be a principal.
You want to see the one that asked me? Want to see the one that called me the ringleader?
Yeah, I want to see her.
Oh my God, you're gonna love this,
smoke, lady.
No. Nope. No. Oh, she's got a new position. She's got a new position. That's crazy. No picture, but.
Let me see.
No picture, but you can see the name. I don't care.
That's why they moved to that position.
Oh yeah, no, you got your position changed, and I love it. But that's the thing is, it's like, I think that education is not one of those careers, unfortunately, and I'm speaking very, very broadly. This does not connect to everyone. Education is not a career path where being the best all-around person gets you what you deserve.
Absolutely not.
A lot of the times, being the best person, the best at what you do, gets you to stay in the exact same position until you realize that so many years have passed and you've deserved more.
Yeah. Well, this is the frustrating thing too. There are administrators that they are well-rounded like that. Yeah. And people try to block what they do.
100%.
They're mad that
100%.
They're standing up for teachers and they're standing up for kids. And they're not just a yes man. And so I have seen, and it is so discouraging to watch that.
It is.
And I'm like, hey, they are a good. Like I don't know if you've seen this, but in Memphis recently, they had a good superintendent. This is one of the first good superintendents they've had in Memphis in a long time.
Okay.
And they ousted this lady. It wasn't the teachers, because teachers don't be liking their superintendent.
Sure.
Teachers always beefing with the superintendent.
A lot of the time, yeah.
The teachers love the superintendent.
Okay.
The students and the parents love the superintendent. Guess who didn't like the superintendent?
The kids?
The teachers loved her, the parents loved her, the students loved her. The Board of Education, the freaking people who sat on the board at the Board of Education, they didn't like her. And you know why they didn't like her? Because she came in, she trying to make changes that were beneficial to the kids, to the teachers, to the parents, weren't beneficial to their paychecks. They didn't like it.
No, all they want is a puppet.
They didn't like it.
They don't want somebody with real ideas.
And slandered that lady's name, fired that lady. And I normally I don't ever hear anything about what's going on in Memphis, really.
Exactly.
Not in terms of educate. This was such a big thing that teachers across the country were hearing about it.
Yeah.
Because they're like, you mean to tell me that you have a practically model citizen and the type of superintendent that people would want.
Sure.
And it's not the people that is affecting in positive ways that want her fired. It's 100%. The people who y'all mad because she eliminating positions of folks who got a secretary position. Yeah. The secretary got a secretary that got a secretary.
Exactly.
And y'all mad that she eliminated that position. And so now y'all want the smoke.
Can you imagine being a 4th tier secretary?
You say it. Your secretary got
crazy.
A secretary. That secretary got a secretary.
No, but that's the thing about it, is that these people who are on the Board of Education and that make calls like that, they never go inside of it. They're not inside the classrooms.
Yes, what are you doing here? What are you doing
Literally,
here, sir?
If you go sit down and you watch how this person who you're planning to fire makes these kids feel.
Slandered that lady, man. They absolutely tried to smear her.
I don't know everything about that specifically. We almost lost that battle.
If I knew what her name, I don't know her name because I don't teach in Shelby County schools. But I just, as a teacher, I remember hearing about it, and I was like, and it was over the course of months.
Yeah.
And you have just never seen somebody be so classy and so professional when people say, because when they go low, I'm going to hell. I already said that. This lady was the equivalent, the epitome of when they go low, we go high. To see somebody, and it just is so frustrating because it's sad that it's such a rarity to see a superintendent that the parents like, the kids love, the teachers love. Teachers, we always beefing with the superintendent.
Yep.
The teachers love this lady. And you mean to tell me the people who the only way it affects them is financially, they're the ones that get the final say? Are you freaking kidding me?
Exactly.
Bass backwards.
No, and let me tell you, it's I think when it comes right down to it, I think about how I felt. Because like I told you before, when I was in college at Emmanuel, I was working with this school a lot, so I was in the school and I knew that person that I was telling you about that got her little position. So
got a little position or whatever.
But I was always viewed as the college kid who was subbing.
Even when she became a teacher?
Yeah. I was always viewed as that
let me tell you
kid.
Something. One thing about it, people gonna hate on somebody that seems cool. I'm like, why y'all tripping?
I try to treat everybody and that's the thing is there were certain people like Miss T in that school, right? And Donna in that school who looked at me and they're like, you're cool.
Yeah, let him.
You're not hurting anyone.
Yeah, let him.
If anything, I don't know. And I think,
why are you threatened by me? I'm not even doing anything.
That person I showed you always had that identity about me.
But also here's the thing too. I have seen this sometimes that there's not a lot of male teachers in the education. Most schools there's more female teachers than there are male teachers.
Sure.
Something about younger male teachers, people try to little boy them.
100%. 100%.
Female and male teachers.
Absolutely.
Try to little boy them.
Absolutely.
And I don't understand. I'm like, hey, chill, bro.
And here's the problem. That mentality of like Tyler's this little boy.
Yeah, chill.
That's one thing when we're like co-teachers and you're just like another teacher in the school. But when you start jumping the ranks and you bring that mentality with you, and she becomes my observer in my class, and she's supposed to do it like once a week. She does it like once every 2 months, and somehow like she comes in and doesn't recognize the curriculum at that day. It becomes my problem. When you bring that mentality up, if you like ask anyone in that school, kids, teachers, whoever, if that person should be in an administrative role,
they're going to say no.
Hell no.
Yeah, they're going to say no.
The parents don't like her. The kids don't like her. The teachers don't like her.
But
I don't like her.
That person has an administrative role still.
And that person, all that matters is if one above likes you.
Yep.
And it's like the inverse of what happened to that other superintendent.
I wish there was more accountability for administrators.
Yeah.
Like I wish the administration that I have now, I always talk about how fantastic they are. They are the type of people that hold themselves accountable. Yeah. Everybody that's in a leadership position doesn't hold themselves accountable. Absolutely. Some people genuinely, they can't have a job where they have no higher up.
Yes.
They can't have a job where they don't have any accountability. That's the
problem.
They have to have some, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. Just know yourself and know like, hey, if you the principal and you like 30 minutes late to school every day, but you don't got nobody that's gonna know you 30 minutes late, your people, we see it. That your teacher see it. Why are you late?
That's the thing, is that like at its core, the entire it's like that Charlie XCX song. Like the apple is rotten. Yeah. Right to the core. Yeah. Like this was the same place. I think I told you about this. We had to clock in, and it took our picture.
That is crazy to me. Oh. It ain't no telling what I do if they had to take my picture every day. I want a collage of what my face look like every day when I come. I want to see how much I've aged across.
Listen, if you're at that point, and we can have a whole different episode on just administrators,
because some people don't have to clock in and out.
Why would you? We're adults.
I know. We have to clock in and out.
What? I'm stuck in traffic. I'm sick. I'm going to text you. Yeah, I'm going to email you. We're adults.
We have to clock in.
But instead, like, I have to get on. I'm like putting in my little, like, my little code so that I can get my picture taken every time. I'm like,
because what? Tyler! They're like, we didn't see you in the office.
Literally. And I'm like, well, here's an idea. Get rid of your stupid ass camera.
I ain't never heard nobody having to get their picture taken.
Oh, it's mental. It's mental.
I never heard of that.
And they're allowed to because it's a private school. You do whatever they want.
Oh. Which is crazy because like any other salaried position, it's that's the
barely
reason you're salaried.
Barely
but
salaried.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the purpose of salary is like I don't have to clock in. I'm on a salary. This is the time that I work. But people have to clock in, child.
No, I think, unfortunately, it takes a long time, but I think that ultimately people get exactly what they deserve. And I'm glad that I was able to see examples of like that woman I was telling you about, because I know exactly who I don't want to have around at all in my life. Yeah. And I know for sure, I already know, like, but she's just stuck in this spot now.
That happens to you a lot, though. People little boy you all the time.
100%.
They try to little boy you all the time.
Yeah, no, and I think the thing is, it's like you can also like succeed in silence. You can move like you can succeed in silence.
Real killers move in silence.
But that's the thing,
Tyler.
Is like
go ahead, T-Teezy.
You can move up. Yeah. Silently.
Yeah.
Easily, and I think a lot of the times it's the loudest people don't end up like actually moving at the rate that they want to. Yeah. You know, so for me, it's like moving through these positions in school, like starting up the company and all this, it's like, and doing the creator stuff too. It's like, I've dealt with a lot of situations where it's like, you can expect whatever you want out of me. Yeah. But when it goes backwards, that's not my fault. That's yours.
I feel like the type of personality you have, people underestimate you a lot.
Probably.
Because you have such a chill personality. And you're funny, like kind of playful, so people automatically are like, that's why I try to. All right,
he's an idiot, yeah.
And I'm like, nah, chill, because you could never try to little girl me, because I'm gonna say something back to you.
But
you
that's
better
the
go find you something to do.
But I think that's what actually I really appreciate. First off, I appreciate you saying that. But like one thing I really like about myself is that like if that's something that's probably happening, I'm not clocking that. I have my own shit to worry about. Yeah, you know. So it's like. I don't know. I think that makes, and you're definitely right about males in education, where
something about
especially younger
males,
men
people try to little boy them a lot. And I'm like, yo,
there's a lot of like mistreatment when it comes to that, and I experienced all that because I was the quintessential like person to get bullied by it. Yeah, you know, all these like highly productive, highly skilled, like intelligent women that I was working with, where they're like, Like, you're a child. You're a kid.
But then it's kind of a catch-22 because it's like, as a man in a female-dominated profession,
sure.
if you say, get the hell out of my face, it's going to send something kind of way. And if I say, get the hell out of my face, it still seem aggressive, but it's a woman to a woman. Also, if a man says it's like, that was very aggressive. I was just trying to help you.
Did you notice something about that list of administrators when I showed you? Was there anything you noticed about like the types of people that were all on there?
No.
I was this like brand new, just out of college. Almost the entire administrator list is women.
Oh.
Which can be an amazing thing as long as their mentalities are right.
Yeah.
But that mentality that person was a co-teacher with, and she started going up the ranks, and she looked at me as a child, that babying is going to now come from an administrative level.
It frustrates me. I can't think of anybody that looks at me like a child. It would make me so irritated because I'm like, I'm a full-grown adult that pays bills.
It's crazy.
I don't act like a child at work. Just because you see that I have a good relationship with the kids doesn't mean I'm acting like a child. Bugger off, lady.
Yeah.
Get away from me.
Exactly. No, and I think, and I hope that as time goes on, because again, with like the TikTok teacher generation, like a lot of men in education are like making their profiles, making it more clear that they're there, like kind of having a presence there so that people know that male teachers do exist. It's not just like you walk in, it's like, oh my God, there's a guy in the classroom.
Right.
Or like high school teachers or like professors, like that's not where like the men need to come in and anything like this. But it's like, I think that this generation, like I said before, I think we're coming into one of the healthiest decades of education that's going to happen. I think it's going to have a lot to do with social media and just like the all-around personality that comes with it. Yeah. And frankly, we wouldn't have these personalities to showcase to teachers around the world if it hadn't been for who we were as kids.
Yeah. Well,
it's
on that
real.
note, man, it's been a good episode,
it's a
man.
real
T-Teezy
episode.
And
no,
Breezy.
I love it. T-Teezy
and Breezy. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Teachers Off Duty Podcast. You can find me on all social media platforms, Honest Teacher Vibes. Please follow the Board Teachers Comedy Tour. Please follow Board Teachers, Teachers Off Duty Podcast, and tell people where they can find you.
You can find me TikTok, Instagram, the YouTube's going off. Facebook, Snapchat, all of it. Also, I have a little bit of an announcement for you.
Tell the people the announcement.
Something I've been working on. I mentioned it a little bit earlier during the episode is recently I have developed a company. Yeah. Something I've been it's something I've actually really wanted to do for a very, very long time. How long have you wanted to do it? I actually wanted to make this company since before I became a teacher. Yeah. Because the teacher, Benjamin Cabrera, the one that like changed the game for me. Man. He's a real one. I actually DM'd him on Facebook not too long ago. Yeah. And I was like, I need you to know this is all you're doing. Like I'm gonna read you the message after this, or maybe I'll read it on like a different podcast.
Now read the message on the podcast.
It's legit, and it like makes it like gets me going. But when I had my experiences with him and I realized how good he was, my first thought wasn't like I want to be like him as a teacher. It was like I want to reward him as a person somehow. Yeah. But like high schoolers don't have thousands of dollars to just throw around. Right. I do now. Yeah. I do now. Yeah. And I have this platform where I can like crowdfund and all this. So basically, my company is called America's Heroes Contest, where teachers can make profiles. They can tell their entire story, everything that they deal with every single day in the classroom, and they can promote themselves to everybody across social media. They can use their pages. They can use their followers, their friends, all this, their family, to get their stories out there and let the people around them know what happens in the classroom. And when they promote themselves, they can gain votes. Yeah. And whoever gets the most votes ends up winning in the end.
And you had a winner.
Yeah, in January we had Kimberly won $5,000.
By the time this airs, you probably have had more.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So we run bi-monthly contests. So we had the January contest. We had another one in March. We're gonna have another one in May, and the prizes are gonna fluctuate. Sometimes it'll be more money. Sometimes it'll be a trip.
So we're trying to $5,000.
Yeah, she won $5,000. Yeah, a mother of 3. She's been teaching for like 10 years. It felt really, really good. I got to call her at midnight when the contest ended. I got to call her and just. Sheila's like crying on the phone and all this.
I would have been.
It was just a really good feeling. So if you're a teacher or you know a teacher or you can think of somebody that you know who deserves a little bit of a pay raise, getting credit for what they do every single day, send them over to americasheroescontest.com, have them register for a contest, and anyone in the world can vote. Yeah. So if you want to go on there and you want to help a teacher get what they deserve, get on there and vote. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, that's what's up.
It's a good thing. It feels good.
That's what's up. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Bye, best friends.
See ya.